If your mother is seen as kind by everyone else, you grow up in a reality where your experience does not carry the same weight. Not because it didn't happen, but because it does not match what's already been accepted as true. So when something does happen, something subtle, dismissive, or quietly undermining, you don't just feel it. You immediately register what will happen if you try to speak about it. You can already hear the responses. Oh, she's so nice. She's misunderstood. You come from such a great family. That's how it looks. And you can already feel where it will not land. So you start adjusting before you even open your mouth. You make it more reasonable. You take out anything that could be questioned. You present it carefully, hoping that if you say it the right way, it might actually be received. But it rarely is. Not directly dismissed, just redirected. Someone brings up how good she's been to them. Someone softens it. Someone reframes it. Or someone just simply says, that's your mom. You have to respect her. You have to love her. And without anyone saying, you are wrong, what you experienced loses its place in the room. That's where something deeper starts to happen. You stop standing fully in what you experienced. Not because you don't remember it, but because you can feel that it doesn't hold outside of you. So you begin to carry it differently. You revisit it. You check yourself. You ask if you're being fair, if you're overinterpreting, if you are missing something, if you are failing to be understanding. And over time, you don't just question what happened, you question your right to trust your own read of it. That's the part that stays with you. Not just the behavior, but what it trained you to do with your perception. You learn to look outward before you look inward. You learn to measure your reality against what will be accepted instead of what you directly experienced. And that creates a kind of internal instability that's difficult to name because nothing looks obviously wrong from the outside. Well, what's actually happening is much simpler than it feels. You are dealing with two different versions of the same person that do not show up in the same places. There's the version people see when things are controlled, when interactions are limited, when there's something to maintain. And then there is the version that shows up where there is closeness, history, and access. You were in the second position. Other people were not. So when you try to describe what happens there, they filter it through the version they know, and it doesn't translate. Perhaps your parent was quite wealthy and tended to donate lots of money to the right people, so everyone saw them as virtuous. So your experience, it doesn't disappear, but it does not stay intact either. It gets reshaped as it moves through other people's understanding. And if that happens enough times, you start doing that reshaping yourself. You start anticipating what won't be accepted and adjusting in advance, not just in what you say, but in how you hold it internally. At some point, the shift is not getting better at explaining it. The shift is recognizing that it does not need to be accepted by others in order to be real. That your experience does not become more valid when someone else understands it. And it does not become less real when they don't. When that lands, you stop editing it. You stop refining it to make it easier or more digestible for others. You let it exist as it is without trying to fit it into someone else's version of her. That does not change how other people see her, and that's okay. It does not resolve the gap between your experience and theirs, but it changes something much more important. It stops the slow movement away from your own perception that happens when you keep adjusting yourself to stay connected. You do not need everyone to see it. You need to stop leaving yourself in order to stay in relationship with something that was never holding you clearly to begin with. That is the real shift. Not louder, not more convincing, just no longer available to distort what you know in order to keep something intact that required you to step out of yourself and truth. And once you stop doing that, something returns. Not all at once, but steadily. Your sense of what's real becomes yours again. You do not have to check it against anyone else before you allow yourself to stand in it. You don't have to reshape it to make it easier for someone else to accept. You just stop simply moving away from it. If you have lived this, you already know the moment where it changed. Not the most obvious one, the quieter one, where you realized it wasn't going to land no matter how clearly you said it. That moment asks something of you, not to prove it harder, not to explain it better, but to decide whether you are going to keep adjusting yourself or finally hold your ground internally, even if no one else joins you there. If you're in that space, stay with me. I am Kat Grace, and we are going further into this because this is where the real work begins. So if this has been helpful, like and subscribe and share with someone who could use it. Until next time, namaste.